Hi guys. So I made a little video yesterday about the scrapie case found in Oregon. Today we are going to talk about OPP, which is Ovine Progressive Pneumonia in sheep. It is another disease that has no treatment, but idiots. But you can test for this and manage this. Nobody's going to come to your farm. You don't need tags in the ear for tracking or anything. It's really pretty easy. I actually have been able to learn how to draw blood from the jugular and send it in for testing. I use Waddell, which is out in Washington, and the Ascension form and everything is super easy to fill out. You send your blood samples in. You need red top test tubes, and you need about 5 milliliters or cc's, whatever. They're pretty much the same thing. 5 cc's of blood to send off. And I do it priority mail. It's fine. It's super easy. Each test tube I label with the sheep's name and their ear tag number. So I know exactly who is who. And I don't just send it off for OPP. And there's a bird. They hide and nest up in this crappy foam board insulation. I love it so. I've got to tear those down and figure out how to better insulate this place. It just boils in the summer. Anyway, so not only do I do OPP, I test for CL, Yonis, and I test the rams only for B. ovis. It's a venereal disease, that one. That's fun, right? Let's spread some of that around too. So I test for all of that, and I ask for the ovine biosecurity screening on my sheep when I send that in. And they send me back a form with everybody's name and the tag number and positive or negative. And I haven't had a positive in a very long time, thank God, because I did deal with OPP because I was talked into buying a pair of East Frisians when I was back in Washington, and this is years ago, and the woman raised Texels. And she said that her Texels were beating up these two East Frisians and they had to go. And she made me like a crazy good deal. That should have been my first red flag there. Plus, the second red flag is she was very pushy to get these sheep out of here. Like, she met me halfway. And, yeah, I should have never bought them, because not long after that, I had another shepherd teach me how to draw blood and how to do the whole Ascension form and all this kind of stuff and ship it off. And it was what it was. Well, it turned out that Fred and Daisy, the two East Frisians that Texel breeder just had to have me buy, had OPP. And it was I was kind of stumped because Daisy had this really nice udder. And no matter how much I milked, no matter how much I massaged, no matter what I did, her udder hardly produced anything. And it was still this big, hard udder. We'll get to that. That was my first sign. Second sign is they did have a cough. It wasn't constant, but they did have an occasional cough. And I was thinking, well, maybe my hay is dusty. But they were kind of the only two that were doing it. And when I learned how to do this test, I tested all my sheep. I needed a base to start from. I had 15 sheep, I think, at the time. You don't test sheep, the lambs that are younger than 6 months, because they've still got antibodies from their mother going around in there. So we did all my adult sheep, sent that off. Those two, Fred and Daisy, and my best ewe, Penny, came back positive. for OPP. So they gave my best ewe that. Yay. It was fantastic. I really appreciated that. So I kind of did some research on OPP because I've never dealt with it. And I was like, great, are all of my sheep just dead now? Do I have to start over? What is going on? Can I even drink the milk? I've kind of been drinking it. What's it going to do to us? Nothing. It's a sheep disease, not a sheep to human disease. So don't freak out about that. Apparently we could still eat the meat. So anyhow, one article, and I don't know how true this is. I didn't really delve into it, but it said that Texels were a lot more susceptible to OPP than most other breeds. Do we wonder if that woman knew that these two sheep were infected with a fatal disease, and instead of culling them and doing the right thing, she made a few bucks on somebody who didn't. I didn't know what to ask to test back then either. Yeah, I was kind of naive about stuff. Even though I was in FFA and 4-H showing lambs, the ag teachers don't teach us this stuff, which I'm really kind of surprised about. I think we as sheep breeders on a whole kind of get passed over a lot, kind of glazed over on the things that we learn in school or whatever, stuff like that. It really sucks. They shouldn't. They should teach each thing, right? It's an ag class. Because I did take ag in high school, and I don't remember learning about diseases like this with sheep. Cows, yeah, some cows, horse stuff. But yeah, not the sheep. So anyway, and if you want to vet me on where I'm getting this information that I am about to read out to you, because there's percentages and all this stuff, go ahead. I got this from aphis.usda.gov website. They know what they're doing. So this is a document from back in December of 2003. It's been a while, but it is still relative. I didn't try too hard to find a more current one, but I'm going to think that they don't do these studies that often, maybe, or maybe I'm wrong. It was the first not AI website that showed up. I kind of glanced at that, and it just gives you this, oh no, they're sick, they get arthritis, oh no. No. So I went to aphis.usa.gov. So OPP stands for Ovine Progressive Pneumonia, and it's exactly what it says. So it's a virus. It's an ovine lentivirus. The signs start displaying by the time the sheep is 2 years old or a little bit older from there. And then they start getting a general loss of body condition. It's usually called thin ewe syndrome. So some of you that have been asking about sheep, why does my sheep, I just wormed them, I did this, they're eating, but she just looks terrible. Are your sheep tested? And not just because the guy that sold you those sheep said, oh yeah. Because the woman who sold me Fred and Daisy said, oh, they look fine. Yeah, unless somebody shows you paperwork, preferably with the sheep's ear tag number, and it matches up. You can't take those tags out unless you rip them, break them. So it's not like they can switch it to one sheep to another if they're going to sell you an infected sheep. It's hard to take those tags out. So preferably not just the name, but the tag number. That's why I do the tag number as well as the sheep's name. because I don't know everybody by tag number. If they get named, then we know them. If they don't get named, they are still in danger of freezer camp. Although the black ram does have someone interested in him right now, which would be great because I really do like him. He's a nice looking sheep. The white one isn't bad either. But anyway, I digress. There's also an increased breathing effort, and they have been called lungers. They lag behind. They breathe faster at rest. They get tired easy. It's because they can't breathe. It's because they're developing pneumonia, which also leads to secondary bacterial infections. Then you have that cough. You have nasal discharge. They have a fever. Let's see. It also causes hard bag disease, which is what I was seeing in Daisy. She had a really nice looking udder, really nice teats to milk, but I could hardly get anything out of it. And it's because she had a congested udder. It's swelling up with whatever goes on in there. And I wonder if it's not just scar tissue, because no pus ever came out. She didn't test poorly on a mastitis, the California mastitis test, nothing. But yeah, there was no milk really coming out. It was really stupid how little milk I was getting from her. And I could never get that bag to shrink up at all, no matter like how well I tried to milk her out. They can also get meningitis or encephalitis too. That's fun, right? They get an unsteady gait. They start twitching. It can lead to hind limb paralysis or total paralysis. They get arthritis. Oh, sorry, I kicked your high chair. Pain and swelling in their joints. So their joints are going to swell. They're getting arthritis too. There's no treatment for this. Your sheep have it. They are going to die. Again, the long and the short of it. There's no icing on this to make it softer, nothing. Your sheep are going to die if they have OPP. But you can save lambs from a ewe, your favorite ewe. But you have to be right there. As soon as those lambs hit the ground, you take those lambs, you dry them off, you bottle them. No ifs, ands, or buts. You want to save anything from this flock, you have to put harder work in now. So, you also, when you do test, if you don't have any baseline to start on your flock is totally untested. If you have the 15 or so sheep, I would suggest testing all of them. Just get it done and do it. And then when the test comes back, if anybody is infected with OPP or CL or Yonis or the BO, get them away. Just get rid of them. Get rid of them. Unless it's, I mean, CL and Yonis and all that stuff. I wouldn't keep lambs from them, but the OPP, this does work. But again, get rid of the sick animals. Then you have the animals that are tested negative. The college told me, was it 6 weeks or 6 months? I should have looked at that before I came out here to do this video. It was 6 something, 6 weeks or 6 months. I think it was 6 weeks. Retest the flock again, especially your ones that are infected. If you think you're going to keep any lambs back or are really just hoping that maybe it was a false positive. It happens sometimes. It just does. So that's what I did. I retested everybody, sent the blood in, came back, everybody over here was still good. These 3 over here, still sicker than shit. So, I culled them. Yeah. So yeah, there was that. There is the ELISA test. It's a blood test that shows whether your animals are sick or not. Again, I was taught how to do it. The girl was not a vet. Neither am I. It's actually not hard. And I don't like needles. But I can do this. I can do a lot of things, actually, to my animals if I have to. So that will skip the vet's farm call. It will skip him patting his pocket with having done the tests and being your middleman. Yeah, it'll save you a lot of money if you learn how to do this. It really isn't hard. I do have sheep. I'm keeping lambs. So I do want to test some. They're 1 or 2 of the adults that I haven't tested since they were born with me, but my flock has been clean, so I want to get them taken care of. So yeah. So if I think I can test these guys, I think they're 6 months in September. So next month I will do a video and show you how to draw blood. It's not hard. It's pretty easy, actually. And I'll show you the equipment that I have, because you need certain vials to send them off, all that kind of good stuff. So anyway, when you are pulling these lambs, do not let your sick ewe touch those lambs anymore at all. She doesn't get up to lick them once. OPP is spread by what's the word I'm looking for? When you cough, the spittle, the infected milk. They say that urine and feces are not supposed to spread it. It's more of the spittle and the milk that are doing this. So take that lamb, dry them off. You can either bottle that lamb somebody else's milk that is clean, or you could just do it on milk replacer. So, and then if I were you, I would 100%, when that lamb is 6 months old, test that lamb too. Yeah. Because what I did when I wanted to make sure that I cleared this out is I did that initial baseline test, found out that those 3 were sick. 6 weeks later, retested everybody, including those 3. Those 3 were still sick. I got rid of them. The next year, I tested what I had left. Everybody was clean. The next year again, I did it as well. Everybody was clean. And then after that, I did samples for like another 2 or 3 years. And everybody was clean. I test new rams or ewes that I bring in from farms that have shown me that, yeah, this animal has been tested. But I do it anyway, because even though they did show me the paper with here's the name and the test results and everything, I still want to have my own records that I drew that blood from this animal and sent that off, and that vial was properly labeled and not mixed up with anything, so I know. It's peace of mind. Also, I don't trust people. So, you know, you sell me 2 sick animals and I lose my best ewe. Ha! I don't want to trust you anymore. So, So, Not that I'm surprised. It also went on to say this website's test, it said back in 2001, producers were asked about their familiarity with OPP. Well, 10.9% said they were very familiar. They've had a situation where they've had to deal with it. I had to deal with it. It was great. It was great. Yeah. It went on to say 1 in 3 operations have never heard of OPP at all. And they're sheep producers. That tells me that 1 in 3 farms don't test their animals at all. And I'm going to think that, well, no, they did go and look at smaller herds. I guess like me. Like most of us, where we don't have 100, 300,000 sheep. I'm never going to have that many. No. So one in 3 operations have never heard of OPP. 92.4% have never tested their sheep, whether they heard about it or not. They're not spending the money to test it. Huh. That's reassuring. This is why I have such a hard time finding animals that I want to bring in. So when I do find another breeder that does the testing, that has records, that doesn't treat me like I'm a extra work and charge me $50 a head for information on animals that are from their farm. Yeah, because that's still stuck in my craw. Yeah. So anyway, when I find another breeder that does all this stuff, they're gold to me. The girl that is talking to me about one of my lambs, she is so excited that she found somebody that actually can tell her stuff about the sheep that she is interested in. I mean, come on, you guys. I say this all the time. This is my soapbox right here. Keep your records. Test your sheep. Come on. 1 in 3 have never heard of OPP, and almost nobody tests for it. And again, this is back in 2001. I'm hoping by now that number is a lot lower, because good God. There are 4.3% that have tested selected sheep, which means they did the sampling thing, which is fine. It's fine. To a point. Because it does take a long time for symptoms to start showing up that you could be missing that one sheep that has it, and it's just a time bomb, and then it's going to start getting that cough, and if you aren't really paying attention, you're gonna, oh well, like I did, the hay's dusty, or I haven't cleaned out the barns in a while, so it's, musty or whatever. I don't know. So then by the time you do hit one that has it, you're probably going to have multiple sheep out there that have got this, and then you're going to have to deal with it that way. Luckily, I only lost the 3. And unluckily, it was my best ewe that they got sick. I would have rather it been one of the other ones that I was going to cull anyway to get sick, because then I really wouldn't have cared. But Penny was a good sheep, and so anyway. And then we have the 0.01% that tested the majority of their animals. And like I said, you don't have to keep testing the majority of them every year, but at least get that baseline. And if you find everybody or anybody that's sick, if it's really a prized animal, retest it in 6 weeks and see if it's a false positive. Maybe, hopefully it is. And then maybe next year do it all again to make sure that nobody else is sick and that really was a false positive. Then do the sample. There's nothing wrong with doing select sheep out of your thing. You got to start with a base. You got to know what you got first, and then you can go from there. It's just, again, as breeders, as sheep producers, we have to do better. Stop buying sheep that you think you're rescuing them. Oh gosh, no. Leave them to somebody else that's going to eat them. Those sheep are at the auction for a reason. So, yeah. So yeah, that's about all I got. That's basically all I got. So, yeah. Tomorrow, we'll talk about CL.